Running. See, she's running. Welcome back. It's been a little bit. So today is April 15th, or it would have been tax day, except it falls on a weekend, so tomorrow would be tax day. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the systems in the car. You may have seen pictures of this or shown this before, but I haven't talked about it in depth. This is methanol injection. So methanol injection is basically a mixture of methanol, which is an alcohol, and a water. It's like a 50-50 mix. You can mix it differently, like 30-70, like 70% water, 30% alcohol. But you can also get it pre-mixed, and by no means is this going to be any sponsor by this company, Snow Performance. It's just the system I chose to use. There's other systems out there from AEM, Electronic Performance. I know there's another company out there, but overall there's just different brands out there of this. So basically a 50-50 mix comes already pre-mixed in gallons like this. So I got 4 gallons. Basically you'll put a reservoir tank. These come in different sizes, from small 1 quart all the way up to like 1 gallon, maybe 5 gallon. So you'll put the fluid in. This reservoir came with a level sensor to tell you if it's getting low or not, and I have that hooked up, but I had to drill the hole and seal it. I gotta put this down. So the fluid comes out in the line, the bottom here, and then it runs underneath down to the pump, which I have not connected yet to the pump because I'm still doing some other things. So here's the pump. This is wired in to power and ground. Power is supplied to the pump from a relay when a pressure switch for boost, which you can manually set from 3 psi up to, I want to say 10 or 15. It all depends on what one it is. So, but it's basically the starting point where you set for this pump to come on. Now there's a solenoid here that the line runs through as well, and that's to prevent backflow. So basically this system is setting a little bit lower than the nozzle is in the engine bay, so it'll flow backwards after being turned off. So to prevent that, the solenoid is there to make it flow only one direction. And then of course the line goes down underneath the car up to the front. And of course I got to do some adjustments. There we go. Now, up to the front. So the line comes up and then runs in to the nozzle. There's 3 different nozzles this system came with for 3 different power bands, like 300, I want to say 3 to 5, 5 to 7, and then like 7 to 1,000 or something like that. I'd have to read it again. But in this nozzle, there's a check ball in here. So when you're under boost and the methanol injection system is not active, it prevents boost leak coming back through the line. And then the nozzle is here just before it goes into the intake stream, just before the throttle body. So the pressure switch I'm telling you about is this switch right here. There's an adjustable screw right here to adjust it. So once you hit the target boost you set it to, it activates this relay, which then in turns the pump on and then forces the methanol into the intake stream. Basically, overall, the methanol injection is there to help prevent detonation, knock, pre-ignition. So, and it allows you to run higher boost on pump gas. So, here's some of the controls in here. Of course, I haven't tested the system quite yet. So here's my switch for methanol injection. It's the third switch from the left. The light comes on. This red light means it's empty or close to empty, which is a third of the tank left, and that's a 3-quart tank, so there's only 1 quart left. The green light next to it turns on when the system is activated by the pressure switch and tells you the system is running. So I'll have to hook it up and do a slight test run so you can see for yourselves. So this is a tube you use. It's just a nylon tube. It's one of those push locks. You gotta cut it really square as you can get it. Get a good seal. Basically what you do in these push locks, just push it in here, and then to release it you push it in, push on the collar and pull out on the tube. So I just put a little bit of water into the system. The system is armed, the light is out because there's enough in it. I'm just going to rev the engine up and have it flow from the main hose into this bottle here, like so. See if I can capture this. Okay, for some reason, see if I can came on. Okay, I gotta figure out what the deal is. I'll be back. Okay, I think I got a bad pressure switch, or I didn't set the pressure switch at the right. So I'm going to try to do this here. I'm going to have to set you down. So it's running. You can see the water. So the system does work. I'm just going to... Oh, it should be out of water now. So okay. So the system does work. That's what I wanted to know. So that is methanol injection. Now we're going to move on to cryogenics. I'm going to turn this switch off. Turn that switch on. Fourth switch from the left is cryogenics. So basically this designs engineering cryogenic system. It's basically liquid CO2 there's a line, you run it down up to a solenoid, which can be controlled by either a micro switch or a push button. So this is the solenoid. So there's liquid CO2 that comes up to here, you purge it, and runs through the system. I have 5 of these spherical bulbs on the intake. No, it does not inject into the intake system. I've had people question about that when I tell them about this. All it does, think of it as an AC system. You have liquid CO2 or liquid refrigerant running through it, and then air passes over it for a heat exchange. All it does is exchange heat. So this is the primer. So all I'm doing is priming the system. System's primed. I can still hear it, but it's doing its job of cooling. And then down on my foot pedal down here, I have a micro switch down here, all hooked up somewhere. I don't have good enough light. Oh, there it is, just to the left of the gas pedal. So when I press the gas pedal, it activates. So this helps cool the air charge and gives me a better workable air temp to use, which in turns, in theory, gives you a better performance gain. Because lower temperatures have a denser air charge, which means more oxygen in the airstream. So that's how this system works. Now that I've shut the car off, now I'm going to prime it back up again. And so here I have an inlet and outlet temp for the intercooler. So red is inlet, this red needle is inlet, the green needle is outlet. So let's see if I can make a change. And this system should not be activated longer than 20 seconds. A bit of a change, not much. May not have seen much of a change really. For those of you who haven't seen the video on Facebook, here's two-step. Two-step. Gotta love it. So that is ran off the MSD ignition box. I have another micro switch down on the clutch pedal. So when I press that in, it sends a 12-volt signal to the MSD box and then tells it to limit RPM on two-step, which is the lower RPM setting, and helps for launch. Get the turbo going for boost and such. So and then now it's an upper limit, so I cannot override the engine if I miss a shift. And that's set on the box as well. There is also ignition timing retard for when you activate like nitrous or something, but I'm not using that. So, but pretty much everything is together. I still have a few things left to do. But the interior is back together. For those who have not seen it, there's a stereo system in here now. We finally got that together and put in. I'll probably show some video of that here. I'm not very good at welding, I can tell you that, but I did put it together myself. So I'm going to let this cool down a little bit on the exhaust temps before I shut this off, because I've already done a couple two-steps earlier trying to get this thing to work on the methanol. So well, that's that. That is methanol injection, CO2, and two-step. Here's the other shot of the stereo. But overall, she does run. I'm not even using the gas pedal to keep it alive anymore. Runs and idles on its own. And my overheating issue is no longer present. Thanks to a 2-row core radiator I was able to fit up. Some of you, or most of you, already seen me do that work. Running the coolant tubes differently. I've got the heat blanket and the turbine housing. Here's the MSD box. Here's a pressure gauge for oil for the turbo inlet. Because I just want to make sure if I have pressure or not on quick diagnostics. So, then here she be. And of course, last thing I just did recently was the strut tower bar. So everything's pretty much here. All that's left to do is do a tune, replace the catalytic converter I've already fried. That's a funny story, actually. And then I gotta get registration, really. That's pretty much left to do. Until next time. Stereo system for some of you who have not seen this yet. There's some footage of it on Facebook, but that was about it. Not on YouTube yet. 112, 210.